Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, what's
We
going
are
on,
here.
people? Back again. Raps on TV. What's going on, big man? You good?
I'm good, bro.
Let-
Fight is popping, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You know when you deep it, right? It's like boxing's back to normal because you've got a decent, I would say, a reasonably big UK show, and then you got a big US show.
100%.
Like so, it's like back to back boxing all night. I'm sure there's going to be some decent football on. So all we need is the fans back in the stadium. But for everybody locked in, it's Kojo Raps on TV here with my co-host Sam. What's going on, brother?
Hello, hello. I'm all good, bro. Like busy week. Things have been crazy work-wise, but no, I'm happy to always jump on and talk boxing and follow. And there's been a lot of drama going on actually this week.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And big up in
And
what's going on?
what's up,
Look forward
brother?
to your call later on. Get some previews.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. Bro, looking forward. Where do we start though? Where do we
I was
start?
gonna say, boy, it's like there's so much to unpack. To be fair, I think you know what. If we're gonna start with anything, we know there's a big couple of big fights on the go. But I think let's start with a bit of drama, a little bit of that. You know, Daily Mail, gossip news. Kell Brook versus Eddie Hearn. So last week was it last week Friday on the weekend? Kell Brook,
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, he released an interview with IFL, and
Yeah.
he's just saying it. He's just getting off his chest. He's speaking with his full chest, and he's saying to us as the public, you know what? Like Eddie's doing this. He's working with Uncle Bob, and Hearn does anything for two Bob and XYZ. He did give a bit more details on the whole Ingle camp, which I thought was interesting. However, Eddie Hearn has now come out with his reply. You know what I mean? Still, just like a rap beef. The other rapper comes out with his track. And
Yeah, don't give it to Hearn.
I mean, obviously, Eddie Hearn's a businessman. So when he's going to articulate himself, he's going to be a lot more eloquent and explain things in a bit more detail. I think he touched on some really good points, though, about, you know, the hospital thing. But, bro, I mean, what are you thinking?
Bro, first of all, I think don't mess with Hearn. There's nothing scarier than that angry Hearn, bro. Like, don't forget, Hearn's got a lot of power right now.
Yeah.
Especially in the UK scene. And I get where Kel's from, but underlying, this is where Eddie Hearn's a businessman that can articulate and he's used to being in front of the camera in comparison to a Kell Brook. A very emotional Kell Brook. I felt that he was the forgotten child of Eddie. That's the kind of vibes that I got there. Especially when he was making, I thought it was quite cheap. Him saying that, you know, he's more concerned about his book than he is his fighters. And I don't think that's fair because I think the guy works very hard. He delivers a lot for the guys he likes, and Kell seen to be in that group of the people he likes. So for him to then go back, and Eddie's response was sweet and articulate, man. He was, "Don't cross me." Where's this kind of energy where I thought of Ventura helping you, or when I was helping you kind of hype the fight up when I knew you weren't ready to fight for X, Y, Z, and you know, just kind of going into he kind of felt hurt by that one because he felt like he stuck by Kell when he didn't really need to, when he knows he could have moved him on and jogged him on. Like with the Amir Khan fight, how many times did he even signed Amir for the sake of Kell Brook, which is what he says. I don't necessarily believe that, but it's kind of, you know,
I think there's an element of truth, though, to be fair.
Yeah, no, of course. He's saying, look, if you want to do something without me, do it. But then when it hit the fan, don't come to me when you're going behind my back negotiating with Bob Arum. That's undermining, number one. And then when you realize that the UK don't want to mess with you unless it's off the back of my name, you don't want to come to me then. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing because he's had to taken that route, and this is Kell Brook I'm talking about, with the whole TV sort of background. When you would have just presumed BT would snap that up again because of the top rank affiliation. However, I guess I guess when you look at it, you say to yourself, look, basically, Kell Brook is not a BT fighter. BT necessarily don't have the funds, so again, it's an early morning fight. Are they gonna fork out what's required if they didn't even do that for Lomachenko Lopez, which was on paper always going to be a good fight? I think going back to your point there about, you know, how much Hearn's kind of like supported him, I think it's true, and I think the comment about his book, and look, you say what you want about Eddie Hearn, we always know he's going to be a promotional guy. He's always going to be able to talk. He's always going to be able to be selling something. That's what he does. But I think, again, if you were to look through the pandemic stage, look, Matchroom are up there as well as Top Rank, as well as PBC, as well as BT, Frank Warren, is putting on shows and delivering. And they've kind of like put out something that was different when they did the whole summer camp, fight camp. They're now out in Wembley, and they're putting out good fixtures, probably better fixtures in terms of matchups than it was pre-pandemic. Arguably, you know, is Chisora Usyk a pay-per-view? Probably not. But this is the game we're in, so like you got to suck it up. So I think for Brook to say that like was definitely a cheap shot. I think it questions where his mind's at though, because again he was so honest in his approach. But you ask yourself, is there some bitterness there? Even with the decision he's made to sort of like train in, is it Fuenteventura without Dominic Ingram? You kind of ask yourself, like, for such a big fight, is that what you want? Is that what you want to be going into? Like a huge contest against a pound for pound fighter, and you don't have your normal team there. And the rumors are he's just picked up some guy from Instagram, which could mean anything. But you just say to yourself, like, are these red flags? Are these signs that Kell Brook isn't being logical with his thought process? I mean, what do you think, bro?
Bro, that first of all, that was a different breakdown. That's a good breakdown because I didn't think about it like that. But now you're putting it like that. It is kind of a thing where, is he in the right mind frame, first of all? I'm sure he tried to tell Eddie to make the Crawford fight, and I'm sure Eddie's been like, I don't know if that's in your best interest to make that fight, but as I'll do, I'll look at the numbers and come back to you. And I think Kell's just, my thing is, I think Kell's past his time. I think he passed his time since that Sean Porter fight in New York. I think it was in Brooklyn. I think he passed his time there.
Even though he became champion, but I get your point. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said even though he became champion, I get your point.
Yeah, he passed his time, man. I just thought that fight took the life out of him, and he got in there with a dog. And then look at the decline since then. Who really thought that? He went in there with Golovkin. Everyone knew that was a lastminute.com fight, and for him to get a nice payday, probably his biggest ever purse. And went back down to then say, look, I'm too big to fight Golovkin, and let me fight Errol Spence, knowing full well Spence will get smoked. But if my uncle's listening, he's probably going to tell me that you are the one of the Eddie Hearn fanboys. He said Brook would win, which I did say that, but I was also very deluded by like the hype and the promotion, you know. He just doesn't seem to be there all there in the head, and that's what the first thing Eddie said. I don't know who said this to him, but 86% of that or 90% of that is bollocks, and got me laughing. But
Kell Brook's dad has been influencing him, in my opinion. They want to cut out Hearn when they couldn't land a UK deal, or they came to Hearn. Yeah, and I mean, great point. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean? And you got to say to yourself again, like you spoke about the whole like Sean Porter, which in this, like what I was saying was that was his defining win because that's how he got the belt overseas territory, right? But the problem was who did he ever defend that belt against? Like when you really deep it, like your Frankie Gavins. There's another guy now. I want to say maybe it was a JoJo, but there was another American guy. Carson Jones was one. So for me, I'm just looking at it. I'm thinking, it's put out a comment there. Hearn has an agreed limited budget with Sky. Why will you use some of that budget against boxers that no longer? Exactly, this is business. But that point you make about like Brook, he's never been the same. And again, you know, you mentioned it and we spoke about it, is the weight, like leading into this Crawford fight. We're like, how is he going to maintain the weight? And then for Eddie Hearn to kind of reveal that, you know, after the Carson Jones fight, which was in his weight class, and he was a recent champion, he still had to go into hospital, and it was a fight that he won, and he was there till early hours of the morning just because he was too dehydrated. So yeah, big challenges for him. That's the one. Kevin Bizier. Again, well, who's this guy? Where is he now? If I was to do a box rec on him, where is he? So, I think this is a big challenge for Brook.
I think it's dangerous. That 147, it's not healthy for him, man. Look, like every time he's tried to make 147, obviously bar the Golovkin fight, he's had some injuries, dehydration problem. Look, he cracked his other eyeball because he's dog like Spence. You know, he and the excuse he made was that, look, I'm more powerful at 154. And Hearn was looking to make him a champion and get him into these nice fights and build his name up at a 154, you know? And that was the that Eddie was doing. And him to go back to 147 now and dehydrate, the older he is, the less disciplined you are as a fighter.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. So it's
I
gonna
just
be.
hope, yeah. I hope nothing happens to him. I really hope he's okay. I really hope after the fight he remains
Mm,
and can go back to his family, man, and no injuries, no hospitalization or anything like that. Because this
yeah,
doesn't seem right.
yeah. Because this, and I'm throwing it all out there. So we used to debate with deluded Brook fans for years, calling him a fraud, and Hearn confirmed it by saying he didn't want those shitty fights, but Brook wouldn't take the challenges. And I think just on that point, though, because when I see the Hearn interview, like you could see Hearn was pissed, and you said it. Don't make an enemy of Eddie Hearn. Don't get him angry. And I think that was that in the flesh. You know, again, say what you want about Hearn. You know, he has his faults, if you want to say that. But he looks after his stable, his Matchroom, the Matchroom brand. But I just think, yeah, Brook needs to be very careful because, you know, his fight is now being showed on Premier Sports. That's another pay-per-view subscription type of show, and that is an outlet. You've got to say, like, is the demand for that going to be the same as Lomachenko Lopez? And I don't necessarily think so. Again, there was a lot of fanboyism around Lomachenko, so he had a lot of fans that were going to tune into that fight, especially in the UK. And then with Crawford, I don't think Crawford, as much as he's respected amongst boxing fans, I don't think he's got a huge amount of fans that are going to say, right, let's stay up to watch him against Brook. I don't know. And then you talk about Brook, like where's his fan base? Sheffield, okay, so probably that's it. So I think it's a very dodgy game. I mean, look, you potentially wanted to fight off of the Matchroom. I think how they dealt with this as a business, they should have just had the conversation. Have the conversation and then say, look, we're going to take this one fight. It's a big opportunity. It's the only belt we can get at the welterweight. There's nothing on the Matchroom side. So we're going to take this fight, one fight deal with Top Rank or whatever, and then come back. That's how we should have really managed it because, you know, you look at people like Khan. Again, I know this is nemesis, but Khan's been able to negotiate and maneuver between quite a few promotional companies. I know it's not the best example, but at the time you had O'Hara Davies. Even though Hearn didn't want him to take the Josh Taylor fight, he agreed to let him go. He delivered it, and he still allowed him to come back to Matchroom and, you know, threw him under the bus later. So my point being, Brook really needs to have somebody in his corner that's advising him. And it's the little shade Eddie Hearn throws about, oh, it's the guy doing the social media, doing the messages. You're like, okay, let's see. So, yeah, look. All the best, like you said, all the best to him health-wise, but yeah.
It's not good. I think this is a very shaken up Brook, but yeah.
But so moving on to the fights of the weekend, because there are plenty, and I think we've got to start with bang.
Boom, boom.
Derek Chisora going up against Alexander Usyk, two absolute psychos.
Derek.
Listen, there's an action-packed card, as you can see on your screens now, going on from Selby versus Kambosos Jr. We've got the fight which was supposed to take place a few weeks ago, Hannah Rankin versus Savannah Marshall. Dave Allen, I don't know how. See, again, Eddie Hearn likes him because he keeps getting chances. Another fight going under the radar, McCarthy versus Lagoon. I think that's going to be a good fight. But moving on, though, let's quickly talk about the tail of the tape between the two fighters. You have Alexander Usyk, 17-0 with 13 knockouts. And we've got Derek Chisora, 32-9, 23 knockouts. 9 losses, that is, 3 of them by KO. Those of you will remember one of those KOs was against David Hay, another cruiserweight champion. Interestingly enough, and I didn't really realize that, I think for me it focused on the age. Usyk's only 3 years younger than Derek Chisora, and if you look at when they started their career, Derek essentially started his career in 2007, whereas Usyk 2013. So, question for you: I think this is the best place to start. What is Chisora going to be able to do to get the victory on Saturday?
Just be a dog, be willing to die in the ring, man. That's what Derek. Like I remember, like Derek is willing. Obviously, God forbid he dies in the ring, but Brook is willing to leave it all in the ring and smoke. But my question with Chisora is, can he stay motivated without fans? Because he's normally a very fan and crowd. He's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
And also, I just think he needs to just be in the grill of Usyk 24/7. Just keep banging at him, keep chopping away. I think the second he starts leaning on the ropes like he does when he's lazy, is when Usyk becomes dangerous. So for me, it would be for him not to get cornered by Usyk and to be the aggressor and taking it to him. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, that's a great point. What I find interesting in this fight is, and I'm going to say it in a weird way, is that Lomachenko and Usyk are so close, and they kind of came into boxing with the same type of, like, if you think about like the aura, they've coming in, you know, the 17 fights, both of them are like multiple world champions, different divisions, XYZ. You know, Usyk's very close with Lomachenko's father. So I find that dynamic interesting because, you know, we're coming out of the pandemic. Usyk isn't a natural heavyweight. Chisora is a bit of a seasoned vet, with a couple of good knockouts in the last sort of year. And you say to yourself, it's never going to be about skill set. It's always going to be about, can Chisora get to him? And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sit on the fence, but my logic is really telling me, you know what, Usyk's got the ability to use his boxing IQ, work the body, you know, stay strong with the jab. But where I'm a bit unsure is that if Chisora is able to kind of, when I say set traps, but like corner him and unload for a good 30 seconds, because Usyk, even if you look at it when he won the cruiserweight at the World Boxing Super Series, he doesn't like to get hit, but he can be hit. Yeah, bro, your mic's gone, bro. He can be hit. So for me, I'm saying to myself, boy, what are we going to be? What is going to happen with Usyk and Chisora? Are you still there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, so when I look at it, I just think to myself, I feel like we're gonna do the pick in a bit, but I feel like this is a really interesting fight because Usyk is probably under more pressure than he would like to admit. He's coming in as kind of like the king of the cruiserweights. He's coming in with, you know, I want to fight Joshua, and I just think, yeah. And somebody put up a comment. Bellew tagged him, and I think it's a fair point to say. You know, Bellew obviously was able to hit him quite a lot, especially in the early rounds. I think most people would have given Tony Bellew 2 or 3 rounds. So yeah. Sam, what's your thoughts on Usyk being able to adjust to this heavyweight?
I don't know. It all depends on how he takes it. You say they're similar. I just don't want a Usyk to be like. I don't want a Usyk to be like, oh, if he loses to Derek, oh, my shoulder, my chest. You know, you said they're very close to whatever. I don't want to hear those excuses. Also, I just think it will be a big challenge for him. I think if he KOs Chisora, he's up in the mix. He needs to be reckoned with. He's the guy that deserves respect, man. He really is that guy if he's able to adapt to that weight, because that's a big jump from, you know, being a cruiserweight to a heavyweight. And Chisora, ain't no punk, man. As much as he's got 9 losses on the record, I mean, 3 of those knockouts, he's only been knocked out 3 times, man. 3 times. And one's been by Dillian Whyte, the other one's been by I think one was by
David Hay.
David Hay.
Didn't knock him out. He went 12 with Klitschko.
This is what I'm saying.
The last one was, I want to say, is an average, but yeah, it wasn't nobody special. But it's exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. So my point is that it's a lot more pressure on Usyk. Derek's got nothing to lose, and don't fear a man that's got nothing to lose. Just like Tiafimo, he had nothing to lose. He had everything to gain.
Everything to get, and that's what I'm saying, bro. And it's like the logic of boxing world just gets thrown out the window because you know that. Because for sure nobody's going to sit here and say Usyk's a better boxer, but like I think what will go be in his favor, and this is what I'm saying, is his movement. Like we know he moves. He's got great movement in the ring, but he's not a string chicken. And Derek is war torn, but he's been out for a while, so he's been able to recover. He's been able to rest. Let's see. I really wouldn't be surprised if Chisora can win. I'm going to think about it a bit more, but it's going to be a very interesting pick because at some point, you say to yourself, you know what, like Chisora could really put a big upset in the works in terms of what that does to the heavyweight division. Do you know what I mean? If he was able to beat Usyk, Bro, I don't think he's chasing Joshua, but I think he can make another big fight against one of the top 4 to 8 heavyweights in the world. You know what I mean? I'm going to say Ortiz, Ruiz, these kind of guys. Like, I think that's going to be a really good for him. Whereas if he loses and it's an embarrassing loss, yeah, he's his official gatekeeper. So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting how that chops up. And the other fight we've got to talk about, Tank Davies, Santa Cruz.
Get the picture up, man. Get the picture up. Come on, bro. Come on.
I got the Cabbage Patch ones. Now we got the slim down version. But yeah, 2 titles, winner takes all. Davies versus Santa Cruz. Listen, I think this is a fight that's been coming for a while. I think looking at obviously Lopez and Lomachenko, we know that this fight, it needs to get done, and the winner needs to take on a really strong challenge. But I mean, just overall, I look at these 2 fights and kind of like a bit of contrast of styles. You know, the high output of Santa Cruz, you know, the technical sort of counter shot power from Davies. How you seeing this fight playing out, bro?
Bro, Tank knockout. But if Tank gets careless, I don't think he has, because I think that him being around Floyd and training with him again, and because you remember, I think they had like a disagreement before because of Amy, but since they kind of squashed that, and I feel like he's been consistent. Whereas Santa Cruz, I think Santa Cruz ain't no joke. Like we saw it to Frampton, he lost it, then came back and whooped him, bro. Like he's not a joke. He's a good guy. But ultimately, Tank is just that bit special. He's just a really special, exciting fighter. Remember what we did? We remember when we saw against Pedraza on the undercard of I think it was DeGale versus Badu Jack. I think it was on that undercard that we saw the real kind of opening of Tank and the way he knocked him out. And I think he's capable of doing the same thing again. You know, it's just, I mean, he's got a lot on the line because he's got a lot to prove. But I think Tank should be able to walk through him. And I mean, the only loss Santa Cruz has had is to Frampton. So I wouldn't say he's a joke. Yes. Hassan, it's going to be a really good weekend of boxing. I wish it was Halloween and I wasn't going out. But
it's back to the old days before. What, you man's doing trick or treating, yeah? Hey,
yeah, come on, man.
Go in and out of range, maybe late on. Sure, yeah, no, I hear that. That's a good point there. But yeah, you're doing all that trick or treating, yeah?
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Well, before 10 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, make sure that we don't want it to move into whatever the next tier is, tier 3. Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Sunday special to talk about as well. So I've got to be on my boxing, man.
No, for real. So listen, let's open up the lines, start getting in some calls from our alumni and esteemed guests. Going out to 985. Mr. Appiah. Oh. Can you hear us? Okay, we can't hear you. We're going to come back to you. 277. Going out to 277. Hello.
What's up? What's happening, guys? Boxing Lowdown, man.
Yes. What's going on, Daryl? You good? Boxing Lowdown. What's good, brother?
Yes. What's happening, man? How you doing, man? Big up to yourself and SD, man. Good to speak to you guys, bro.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you. How's things been? You ready for this weekend of boxing?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for this week of boxing. But I had a question for you both. Now, I just wanted to get your opinions on it because it's caused quite a stir, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And that brings into Lomachenko's fight with Teofimo Lopez the other weekend.
Yep.
Obviously, we saw Teofimo Lopez win the decision. Some people have called into question, quote unquote, Lomachenko's greatness. Now, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Some are saying that, you know, as a professional, he's had 2 losses in his career now. There's been some debate about whether he's really as great as some of the people out there are making him out to be. Now, I'm not by any means calling into question his resume, but I just wanted to get you guys' opinion as to where you think he stands currently amongst the greats of our generation, such as Mayweather and Pacquiao. Should his name sit around amongst that yet, considering the fighters that he's beaten, or do you think that, you know, 2 losses that he suffered now put the dent towards it?
Sam, I'll let you go.
Bro, great question. That's a typical boxing low-down question, man. Proper guy in depth. But the best way to answer this I'll probably say I still feel he's up there in terms of his movement and his technical ability, in terms of how he drops his shoulder, how he moves. You could definitely class him as a modern day kind of inspiration and example for the young guys to be able to learn off of in terms of how he moves and how he fights. In terms of status now and greatness, I think he needs to try and step up another gear. I think the excuse of losing, the excuse he came up with against Teofimo Lopez, I think that was poor and that was quite distasteful, and that kind of changed a lot of fans' views of him because he was so expected to win. I think the odds, everything, like even with your poll and some of our polls we did, like 75% plus people thought he was going to win. So the fact he had lost and the action and the excuse he gave did kind of taint his image a little bit. But I mean, it's not Mayweather era. Floyd's amazing. That's why he was undefeated, and I think he can still come again. Manny Pacquiao lost several times, so he can and Lomachenko can still come again. So he's still got a long ahead of him. I just think this is just a slight bump in the road. But what do you think?
No, if I could just add to that as well, I think he's still kind of, when I say up there, I think look, he's still a great champion, and I don't think his career's over. I think the problem was and always will be was the homosexuals, as they call them, the fanboys that he's got. Because I think for those guys, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's achieved more than Crawford, Andre Ward. He can go up against Mayweather. And for those of us that watched the sport for a while, we knew that those things weren't really true. And I think there was an element of, Paulie Malignaggi said it, sorry to be political, but this whole Eastern European boxers being the savior of the sport. So I think there was a lot of fanboyism on that side. And I think he's still a great champion. I would say for him, he's kind of faced most of the challenges that have presented him. I think he would have fought Tank Davis if that opportunity came around. He fought Lopez, didn't really have to. Fought, what's his name? Campbell, Linares, Rigondeaux, Walters. Okay, Rigondeaux was the weight, but Gary Russell. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you look at who he's fought, he's never really shirked a challenge. I just think sometimes, like for us as boxing, I'm going to say fans, it's like it's the fanboys that spoil that boxer's reputation. So I still think he is up there, Daryl, in my opinion. I just think now his fanboys have to calm down a bit.
Yeah. I agree. So one more question before I go, guys.
No worries.
I just want to get your thoughts on, I know it's not to do, because I know you're going to get loads of questions about this weekend. So Tyson Fury, obviously, is looking to fight in December. Got two main opponents there, Carlos Takam and Ajit Caballero, both being considered. If it was down to you two, who would you pick? And are you happy with those two opponents?
Can I take that one? I'll take that one. So out of the two, I'll be honest. I think they're both relatively poor, but I understand. I think it should be Caballero. I think you can't fight someone that's been knocked out by Chisora. I know it's boxing and things can change, but I just don't think that reads good on paper. It's better to take the guy that beat Chisora on paper. But if it was down to me, I wouldn't mind seeing the Otto Wallin rematch. I think just because Otto Wallin is probably a bit confident, I'm not saying he's going to beat Fury. I don't think any opponent for this fixture is probably going to beat him. But I think, Otto Wallin rematch would be quite decent. Sam?
Yeah, no, 100%. So Wallin is the one. Literally, I actually agree with you for once, bro. Everything you said was correct.
You see what? So Darryl, to give you a bit of context to that, the guy got the Lopez pick right. He got one pick right over me, and now he's the next Spencer Fearon. But listen, before we let you go, exactly, yeah. But before you go, Darryl, just to get your thoughts, Usyk Chisora and Tank Davis Santa Cruz. Who are your picks?
Well, my picks are definite. I've got Usyk probably by late stoppage or points win. I just think that his style is going to cause a lot of issues for Chisora, man. It's going to frustrate him. It's going to give him angles. I think that Chisora will come out bullish early on, and if he's not able to stamp his authority early on, it could be a long night for him, and it could end up similar to the Bellew fight, where he ends up getting a bit frustrated and tired, and then Usyk could exert his authority. But it's not an open and shut door case for me because Usyk can get hit, and we're yet to see how his chin tested up there at heavyweight, and Chisora can hit. He's not going to respect it. So I'm really looking forward to that, but ultimately, I just think class will prevail in the end.
Yeah.
And as for Tank Davis and Santa Cruz, I'm going for Tank Davis. I think that Santa Cruz is a very good fighter. He's like you guys said, and he loves to Frampton. He punches in combinations, but I just don't think his punches are going to be able to hold Tank Davis in his tracks. And I think that Tank Davis punches will be able to hold Leo in his tracks. So I'm going to Tank in that one. If he's motivated and focused, because if he's not, then I could see Leo swinging an upset maybe. So Tank's got to be on his game. Yeah. But if he's on his game, I'll go with Tank.
No, appreciate that. Listen, thank you very much, Dal, for your call. Appreciate it as always, and we'll catch up soon. Boxing Lowdown. Make sure everybody goes out and checks them out. Moving on, we've got, and just in the background, we've got Danny Darko. I see you there. But we're just going through our caller section, and we're going to come to you soon. Inam, hello, 464.
Hi,
yes.
It's Sham from Boxing and Ban.
Hey, Sham, how you doing? Long time.
What's happening, bro?
Thank you. Yeah, yes. Long time.
It's a sis, bro. Not yes. So before we go, for our listeners, Sham and her friend Katie, they've set up a new boxing channel, Boxing and Banks. Go and check them out. You know, we love everybody that contributes to the sport. So 2 young ladies, sisters, talking that boxing stuff. So yeah, make sure you check them out. But Sham, what's on your mind?
Thank you. What I wanted to talk about was the fight, the Chisora fight on Saturday. I think for me, on paper, when I first heard about this fight, I would have said Usyk as a dead cert.
Yeah.
But looking at Chisora, kind of since he's been under Haymaker, I think he's in really, really good shape at the moment. He seems a lot more controlled. The fights that I've seen since he's been under Haymaker, he seems a lot more controlled in the ring and outside the ring, because obviously he's notorious for pre-fight build-up. And I think we could see a shocker with that fight on Saturday. I think there could be a surprise in there.
Yeah, and I mean, when you spoke just on that, you spoke about like Chisora. I mean, like mentally as well. It's not just the physical element. I think mentally he seems in a better place. Would you agree?
Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah, I find that he used to do a lot of crazy things in the lead up to his fight, and I wasn't sure whether that was his mental state or his just generally trying to sell the fight, hype the fight up. But leading up to this fight, he seemed a lot calmer, and that's going to be important for him when he goes into this, especially as there's no fights, like you said, so no fans to hype him up this time.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. And then I've got to get your thoughts. So I've just got on the Tank Davis, Santa Cruz.
I'm going to give this one to Davis. Actually, I just think he's a bit more of an all-round, skilled fighter for me personally. I don't have as strong thoughts on that fight, to be honest with you, but for me, I think Davis takes that one. Yeah.
Okay. No, listen. So appreciate that, Sham. So thank you very much. Anything else on your mind?
That's it for me today.
Big up. So let everybody know where they can find your channel and your platform, where they can follow you and watch all your videos.
Sure. So you can catch us on Instagram at Boxing in Ban with a Z, and also the same on YouTube.
Perfect.
Check us out.
Perfect. Thank you. Big up. Thank you very much. So take care and look forward. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Yes, going out to 985 last time. 985.
Hello.
Oh, he's not there. So listen, we're going to bring in the big man. Fighting out this week, taking on a legendary name in itself, but he's taking on one of the sons. But he has put in a big performance. 2019 was actually a big year for Darko. Actually, I remember that fight down at with the MTK. So, Mr. Danny Darko, how you doing, sir?
What's going on? You right?
Certainly, my brother.
What's going on, big man? Talk to us. How's the fight's been announced? Good to see you. Thank you for coming on the show. But the fight's been announced. How are you feeling now that the news has been revealed?
Ready to go, innit, man? I've been in camp for a minute now, so we kind of knew about this already. You get me? So it's new news to me, innit? But yeah,
I hear that, bro. Just wanted to ask. When we were hearing rumors about it, but like I said to you before, we spoke on the phone. I didn't want to kind of holler you about it before it was going on. But how easy was it to make the fight? Because there's a lot at stake here for both men.
I feel like due to this COVID thing, it weren't too hard, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of fighters right now stepping up to the plate, you know, fighting all the bad, and everyone, all the bad boys are fighting all the bad boys now. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, innit? Like I don't really focus on how easy or hard it is to make the fight, innit? We try and make the fight. If it don't happen, we go to the next one, innit? If it happens, then we roll on, innit?
Yeah, bro. No, for sure, and sure. And how's training in COVID now? What's the camp like in COVID? Because I believe this is your first fight in the COVID environment.
Yeah. Look, training's training, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't be affected. If I was to get affected by my environment, I don't even think I'll be boxing right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think boxing is a sport that you can always let your environment kind of like impact how things are going. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta plug on.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that. In general, though, do you think this is? Do you think this has potential to be fight of the year, maybe for domestic scene?
Yeah, this is gonna be the main event, you know, or that golden, or that contracting, you know that.
Yeah, no, of course, bro. You saw the flyers.
And bro, I mean, look, I remember your last fight, and I forgot the opponent's name, but I'll say you were on paper the slight underdog. Yeah, and slight underdog. Got a bit hairy at the press conference. You put it on his guy.
That's not my last fight.
The fight before that, was that when you won the belt?
Yeah,
down at York Hall, because I was there and I saw the support. So apologies for missing that one. But yeah, in terms of that fight, like, how much do you think I'm going to say grown, but how much do you think you've learned since going through that tough challenge, getting the victory, and now taking on a name like Eubank? Don't know if he's got the profile, but of his father, clearly not. But as a fighter, how much have you learned in this last year since that victory?
Well, since Mark Madonna, I've had a fight. I fought for Southern Area. You understand? So
yeah,
I've had a fight. So when I fought Martin, I learned a lot because I wasn't expecting him to be how he was, innit? He was on his the whole time, and I was trying to chase him down. You get me? So they did come in they came in with a good game plan. However, I was able to adapt, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't my cleanest. It wasn't my still won by a landslide. So
yeah,
no, for sure, bro. And thing is, what I really like about this fight is you've got yourself, who's full of confidence right now. You've got Harlem, who I know quite well, who had the knockout of the year a couple of years ago. Is it going to be just a speed slugfest? Because both of you have tremendous power and speed.
I don't know, innit? Like, gonna be slugfest. You know what I'm saying? Depend. Like, you know what it is? I can tell you, yeah, it's gonna go like this and it's gonna go like that, but you don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I could go in there and he could be on his back foot, or he could be on his front foot. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, we'll be clashing, or he could come in, I could be on my back foot. You never know, innit? Like, all I do in camp is I just make sure I've turned over every stone, innit? You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to do, innit?
Yeah. In regards to camp, when Sam interviewed you, spoke to you not too long ago, I want to say, I remember you talking about the cycling, how beneficial the cycling is for you, riding your bike. To be fair, even during this pandemic, I got myself a bike. But how has training been? Like, you know, what's different from the last fight to what you're doing now?
Nutrition, you know what?
Anything like that?
I got a nutritionist. I had a nutritionist on my last fight, yeah? However, when I got a nutritionist on my last fight, I ended up getting him through basically halfway through camp, innit? So he had a short amount of time to get me in peak condition, which he done, innit? You understand? But now, where I brought him in at the beginning of camp, peak, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I hear that. Don't tell me you're on this vegan food. You're on your proper Nigerian food, yeah? Because you know Harlem's a vegan, so you know it's protein diet versus plant-based diet. So we're gonna see which one's gonna win.
Yeah, I don't know about that vegan stuff, man. No disrespect. My mum trying to do that thing as well. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
She's pescatarian still, actually, my mum, isn't it? But yeah, no, I know a couple of people that have, you know what? Let me tell you something. Yeah, like recently, I've seen a few. What do you call it? I've seen a few vegan pages. You get me? And it feels like the meals look nice and that. It's not something that I'm gonna do as a diet. Like it's never that. Like. But I think their food. Like I don't have nothing against what they do. You get me? Like in fact, it shows mad discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like enough ratings in it. Like if you can go from, I don't know, eating meat and whatnot to just bow. You don't want to eat. You're not gonna eat no meat. You know, I got ratings for you in it. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
but I ain't about to do that.
Yeah, bro. You know what I was gonna say, but boy, is it possible to just change your camera? I was looking at it. I don't know if your camera is. Just switch it around like a landscape. Are you using a? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go, bro. Sorry, I just clocked that. So you mentioned your mum, but no Kingsley from All Stars at the McDonough fight because I was there. I saw the great family support you had. So how obviously you're a man that's been through stuff, right? So is it not affecting you, but is it gonna be on your mind that this fight you won't have any fans there in support?
Nah, man.
Nah, I didn't think so.
He's on smoke. Look at him.
I know you think so, but you know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta ask, you know?
It's a fight, man. You get me? Like it's a fight, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you gonna be worried about who's watching you fight? I just like we fighting, innit? And that's it.
Yeah. But the reason I say it, bro, is because when I saw the McDonough fight, like I felt like the fact your family, your fans were really cheering you on. Like you was applying the pressure throughout the fight. He was coming in as that slick boxer, but you really kind of applied that pressure. And I wondered, was that like that 12th man, just that wind behind your back kind of thing?
Don't get me wrong, yeah. In that McDonough fight, even though I just fought Billy Allen for the title, and in that fight I got caught in the second round, didn't it? And I looked a bit. It wobbled me in the second round, and that, you know what I'm saying, which happens. People might think that was my hardest fight. That wasn't my hardest fight. McDonough fight wasn't my hardest fight. It was a tricky fight because he was on his back foot. Do you understand? And he was just when I was trying to close him down, he was gone. He was good with his feet. So the crowd, when I did hear the crowd, I was like, I started going through my list of my Arsenal list. You understand? Like when I heard it, I was like, I need to go for I need to lock this down quickly. You get me? I need to lock it down. So the crowd. You know what is the crowd's good, man. It's always good to. Do you know what it is with my people? Them, it's like there's a lot of people that have seen the come up in it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just do this for like the family. I've got a lot of people that I do this for. You get me? Like that are here, people that are not here. You know, so like. But at the same time, this is on Sky. You know what I'm saying? This is what I've been waiting for, innit?
Yeah.
So whether I got people watching me or they're just gonna have to watch me on Sky, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm gonna be able to hear my coach shouting his head off at me. You get me?
No, I hear that, bro. I hear that. Talk me through like what's the normal kind of process before you go into a fight?
What on the day or just?
Yeah, on the day, bro. What's the routine? Is it you go to your local or
so on the day? Got 3 of my brethren, come and pick me up in the morning, innit? Yeah, it's the same ones. Well, it's 2 of them, innit? Yeah, 2 of my brethren. They come and pick me up same time, it's the same routine. They pick me up. No, tell like we go to the weigh-in the day before, They come and pick me up, both of them, innit? You know what I'm saying? We go to the weigh-in, innit? Then we go eat, and then they'll drop me off, and then and then the day of the fight, my girls in here with her best friend. They're getting ready, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always stressing around. I'm like, yo, you got my music, yo, you got this, you get that. This is like the routine, you know. And then this is every time as well. Like it's just my girl out about the music and that. And then my brethren come, and then we just head to the thingy early. But it's just cool. Do you get me? It's cool. And then sometimes when I get to the fight, I go and sit at the top of the crowd and just watch a couple of the boxes. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's my time, like to start getting warmed up, I just, you get me. I got through, but I hail everyone up for certain times. But if everyone gets there, I might hail up a couple of people like yo. But otherwise, I just, you know what I'm saying, I go and put my head down and I get to it. I don't try to think too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, start putting a bit of pressure on yourself and all of that. Like, that's all mad. You get me? Like, you just gotta just be easy.
Just roll with it. Exactly.
Roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm totally hear that, bro. So listen, I mean, you know your opponent, Eubank. You know the name. Tell me, what do you know about him and his fighting style, if you like?
Well, obviously, I watched his Madonna fight. I watched that whole fight. You know what I'm saying? It was a good show, and that's all I've watched of him. But obviously, you see little bits online, little bits on Insta and whatnot, him doing the pads and that. You get me? Like, he's fast. He's a booth fighter, innit?
Yeah.
You get me? Like, he's a booth fighter, innit? So, them booth fighters, they're tricky, they're skillful, they're fast. He clearly hits hard. It's a good fight. Yeah. It's a good fight. You get me? But at the same time, well, anyway, you're asking about him, so yeah, man. Yeah.
Talk.
No, bro, say your thing, bro.
At the same time, like, man hit hard, man's fast, man's skillful, man's tricky. You get me?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, man. Like, you know, he's a good fighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like him, you know. Like, he's a good fighter, and he's a good person. You get me? Like, I see him in the gym one time. He come up to me, hold me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, congratulations from getting the belt and that. You know what I'm saying? He's not stuck up and that. Like, he's a good brother, man.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a good fight. Hopefully, there's no trash talk in this build up. I don't really like all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, we just fight. We finish the fight. We spud it out. You know what I'm saying? We fireworks.
Exactly. It's boxing, but it's also business, right? Don't need to really make it personal. If it
never personal, man. Well. Never. That's mad.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Darko, I was talking, as soon as the fight got announced, we had to get you one. Had to help courage. I said, no, we need to secure my Nigerian brother to come on and beat the Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? None of that. Everyone, jollof rice every day, no jerk.
Every day,
Wait, that is going to be the guy. As long as it's the Ghanaian one, yeah?
Whoa. That's a mad thing still.
That's what Rihanna said as well, man.
Bro, you know what, yeah? Like, I'm a Goosey soup guy still, innit? You know what I'm saying? I put my soup over, come on. That's what I'm waiting for. So when the fight's done, a couple of the people.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta have that for nutrition in fight camp.
You know what? Fight camp don't have that still. Fight camp right now with eye prep meals, innit? Yeah.
Eye prep, okay.
Eye prep meals, you get me? They're I don't even think. You know what? I don't even like thinking about my food and that. I got my nutritionist who comes to my house once a week. You know what I'm saying? And I've got eye prep meals that sort my food out every day, innit?
Yeah.
And I just try not to think about it. Just put my food in front of me, I eat it. You know what I'm saying? I make weight. Nice. Get me.
Talk about eye prep meals. Big up. Are they sponsoring you now for
hey, listen, big them up, you know, because their meals are different as well, you know. Like they got, you know, you get a lot of bland food sometimes in these prep meals. See, their thing, it's not like that still. I like their food.
Yeah. What's your favorite so far? Any dish you can remember?
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I got a burger and naked chips that I haven't eaten yet. I've been saving that one. I'm gonna save it for tomorrow, innit?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like all of them meals. I just had a katsu curry, banging still.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Actually, shall I tell you what I did have though? So I think it was a chow mein. What was that? Was that chow mein the one I had the first time?
Beef stir fry.
Beef stir fry.
Okay.
Loud still.
Nice. So, bro, listen, there's a couple of fights this weekend. Love to try and get your thoughts, prediction. The main one being Usyk versus Chisora. What's your thoughts on that fight?
I got Usyk still. Like, listen, just people are like, oh, he's coming up to heavyweight. He's coming up to listen. He's going up to heavyweight because he can handle heavyweight. He can handle it at heavyweight. Like, that's in my opinion, innit? I just feel like, look, this guy's mad. It's not saying that. Look, he's mad skillful, yeah. Them and they're undisputed at light heavy. Like, need to put some respect on this guy's name, you know. Like, he's undisputed at light heavy. Like, he's serious stuff, man. I watch him training that, and he don't move around on his feet. He moves around on his feet like he's a middleweight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he reminds me of like, imagine Tyson Fury, but even faster on your feet. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, that's kind of what he's
that's
like. So, he's very skillful. and I got him. I know Chisora, like, yeah, he's more he's very focused right now. I wouldn't be shocked if he pulled out some crazy upset. Like, this is boxing, innit? It's boxing, like, you never know. Like, and it's it's only one punch. You know what I'm saying? It's only one punch. You get me? But I got I got Usyk winning that one there still.
I hear that, bro. What about the American? What about the American show of the evening? We got our guy Javante Tank Davies versus
Crazy.
Santa Cruz.
You know what? You know what it is? I fuck with both. Oh, sorry, I mess with both of them.
No, you can swear, man.
Yeah, I mess with both of them.
Yeah.
I've basically watched all the Leo Santa Cruz's fights and all the Javante's fights. Like, I thought of both of them boxes heavy in it. But Javante, he's special still. But do you know one thing I have clocked on? Yeah. He's been wearing his sweatsuit on basically all of his training sessions. Yeah.
Now
let me tell you something. Yeah. Leo Santa Cruz has clocked on to that, innit? And he is a 12. Leo Santa Cruz is a 12. Yeah, you know, whatever. Everyone's a 12-round fighter, but he is a 12-round fighter, innit? Which means he don't take the gas off until the bell goes in the end, innit? There is no breaks with him. You know what I'm saying? I do think Tank will stop him, innit? I think Tank will stop him. I'm not gonna lie. If Tank don't stop him, I can see Leo Cruz winning on velocity of punches. Do you understand? Because he's gonna throw a lot, and Tank's he don't throw a lot. He like boom. You know what I'm saying? He throws a couple, and then might hit you with a heavy shot. He's not a high velocity puncher. He's a high powered puncher. Whereas Santa Cruz, he throws bare punches. So yeah, I got Tank stopping him. That's what I'll have my money on. If he doesn't stop him, then Leo Santa Cruz will probably come on. I'm not gonna say if he doesn't stop him in a certain round, because look what happened to Gamboa, innit? Like Javante stopped him in the last round. You know what I'm saying? And that can happen when you're a power puncher, innit? And right now, listen, Javante's with Floyd, you know, like not with Floyd, but he's over in Las Vegas, and he's training he's training out of Floyd's gym, and Floyd don't mess about when it comes to training, you know what I'm saying? So he's focused right now, you get me?
I mean that point you made about the sweatsuit, I had noticed that as well. I wasn't sure if it was just a bit of the promotion, because he's got some merchandise with him. But when I watched the All Access, like, I have to say, I was thinking, right, this guy's got that on constantly, and I don't want to say
he's always got a sweatsuit on.
Always, and I was thinking to myself, boy, you know what? Because it's a fair point, because he seems to always have issues. Like, he's had at least 2 or 3 issues, not always, but he's had like 2 or 3 issues where he hasn't made weight on the day. So I think that could be an interesting kind of like intangible. Like, as fans, we try and hold on to anything, and you just never know, because I agree with you. Santa Cruz doesn't stop punching from round 1 to round 12. He's on it. He's on it. So yeah, no, great.
You know what it is? You see this making weight thing, like, it's such a bigger factor than people think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I believe that I've started to realize that as my time's gone on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I first started to turn over, like, I wasn't taking the weight cut. I was making weight, but like, I was like maybe doing certain things in between it. You know what I'm saying? But as time goes on, you got to take this weight thing real serious, though.
No, for sure, bro. But listen, bro, we really appreciate you coming on, man. Like, always good. Since when we spoke back on the live and whatnot, we've always seen you. You're a busybody. You're active.
Yeah, man.
Hustle, and I think that's just yourself, personality. Now you've got a huge platform in Sky, and
it's getting there, man.
We'll make the most of it, and everyone will see what Danny Darko is really about. You know,
that's what it is.
Anything else? Any last words you got, brother?
No, man. Just shout out all the sponsors: iPrep Mills, Desirables, Triple A Roofing, Ben Young's Roofing. You know what I'm saying? There's a few, man. Any war management. Obviously, shout out MTK, of course. You know, they put me on. They put me under the light. I just got to do my thing. You get me? Shout out Newlands Gym as well. That's where I'm at. Newlands Gym. A lot of bad boys coming out of there. Indabassi, Danny Dignam, Charlie Wise, Hamza Butt. You get me?
Yeah, bro. Keep telling us, because I mean we got a bit of time. We aren't close to the end.
And my brother as well. Watch out. My brother's coming up as well. You know, obviously you got to see my brother. You get me?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I know him All Stars days. I used to see him down at the All Stars. So, last one I wanted to ask you though, what's sparring been like, brother? What's sparring been like? for this
You
camp?
know what? Sparring's been good because obviously previous to my last fight, yeah, I didn't get to spar for my last fight, innit? Because I broke my hand. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, you
had
said.
kind of year off of COVID, yeah. Now I've got back in and I'm back in sparring, innit? You know what I'm saying? But like sparring always goes good for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my favorite part of this whole thing. I feel like that's like where you like, I don't know, sparring plays a big mental thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've got to like, I have to get my rounds. I'm always on to my coach. I'm like, yo, who we got? Who we got? Yeah, who's next? You're like, who we got? Who's this? I'm always trying to get different people to like serious people to spar with. You feel me?
Yeah.
So sparring's going good, man.
You
I've
know,
got a lot of boys in the gym right now that I'm moving with. You get me, son?
yeah, you know, it's like back in the days when you're doing like football coaching and you got to do the practicing your techniques and everything, but you just want to play a match. Is it like that? Like I'm sure you enjoy the technique, but you just want to fight.
I just want to fight.
Yeah.
Sparring, like, and I'm always trying to spar. And I'm always trying to like, I just max it out. Even if they tell me, even if I'm fighting someone, he's like, oh, I've only got 6 rounds. Like, I push myself so hard in them 6, it might feel like I've done a 12. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like. That's how like in sparring, yeah. That's kind of the fastest way to excel yourself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Sparring, like you just gotta, yeah, man. That's why I love sparring. There's no remorse shown in sparring as well. You feel me? So
No,
Yeah,
definitely,
bro.
Listen, appreciate you coming on. I know it's last minute as well. Appreciate you giving us a bit of your time. Just, you want to let the people know where they can follow you on your social medias? Do you want to give out your handles?
Man. Follow my Insta at Danny DK Darko, innit?
Yeah.
That's
No,
what I'm
Danny
at.
DK Darko.
Danny DK Darko, man.
Very much, bro. Listen, we're going to leave you to it, man. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
Go get that naked burger done. And go
Let's catch up soon, bro.
Alright, definitely, man. Thank you lot for having me on the channel, yeah?
No worries.
Alright,
That's
big
up,
up
bro.
Raps TV, man. Take care.
Cheers, man. Take care.
What a guy, bro.
Yes,
Tell
man.
you, bro. He's on smoke, man. He's on smoke.
You know what I like about him as well is that, and we're going to talk to him a bit more another time, but I just like that he's just real. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just says what he says. Nothing.
Yeah, bro.
He's not got no airs and graces. So listen, we've got a couple of calls left. Let me quickly run out to them.
Yeah, bang it. Come on, people. Talk to us.
644?
Guys, how you doing?
Yes, not bad in am. What's going on?
What's
You
that,
all right?
brother?
Yeah, all good, man. How you doing, Sam? You all right?
We're good.
Good, bro.
And he's good. So I'm answering his form. Bro, so tell us, man, Usyk versus Chisora. How you seeing that? We're seeing a few of your comments, but now we want it on record.
Yeah, I think there's like really one way it's gonna go. We could go 2 ways, but you know, Usyk's gonna be smart. He's gonna do what that Gashi guy done, right? Just try and outbox him, not just run like this guy for 12 rounds though. He's gonna be in and out, couple of jabs, in and out. A bit like what Vladimir Klitschko used to do, you know. He's gonna try and stay away from Chisora, just outbox him. And if he sees Chisora getting tired late into the fight, 9, 10, we might try and take him out. That's the smart thing he should do, and he will win easily.
Yeah.
If he tries to make a name for himself, which you know really he does, he wants to be taken seriously in the heavyweight division, right? Then he needs to have that chin tested, and he really needs to take him to Chisora and take him out, right? So it's only one of 2 ways. It's what he wants to do. You know, I think he's not going to want to take any risks. Right, if he wants to make a name for himself, he's probably going to try and do it against bigger names. Yeah, I think it's still the mandatory for Joshua with the WBO.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So why would we know? That's a money fight, right? So I doubt he's going to want to take any risks. He's probably going to try and outbox Chisora, get this out of the way, you know, and then just try and get some kind of payment out of Joshua because Joshua's going to fight Fury because it was the mandatory with Prudent at the same time. Yeah. If you remember.
Yes.
Yeah, there must have been some behind the scenes negotiation that said, right, let Prudent go first, then you're next, right? So he's not going to want to try and mess it all up because we've got big money coming down the line, right? So that's how I see that one kind of coming along. Just want to talk about the Hearn v Brook thing as well.
Yes.
Right? I mean, for years, right, you know, myself and yourself, coach, used to debate, all these Brook fans, like the Brook fans, after Brook became world champion, right, before that, he still was hardly any good friends. It's the same thing, you see it again and again, same Tyson Fury, right? You know, even when Tyson Fury won the belts the first time, he did that as fans, right? Second time round, suddenly everybody's asking fans, every boxing people is fans, right? So that was what happened with Brook. And the frustrating thing was constantly you had this delusion, right? And when you're calling him out, say, look, the guy's fighting weak opposition after weak opposition, right? People come out with nonsense, mandatory, right? That's something that Hearn created, right? More genius marketing, mandatory, right? That was the excuse. And it's all falling apart. So I'm glad Hearn, right, has had this kind of argument with Brook, and now he's just come out with it and said, look, it was fighting bum after bum after bum. It was very hard for us. And I side with Hearn completely on this, right? They tried to be smart, yeah, they've tried to go their own way, right? They clearly haven't got the business nous, right? To pull something off themselves, right? Because it's not just negotiating the fight. You've got to have the contacts with the TV companies, right? You've got to know who you're dealing with, all the legals, all the financing, right? All the number crunching. They ain't got a clue about it. That anything to do. Give me that and a social media guy like Hearn says, right? So there's no other deal. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Aaron's pulled their pants down. Aaron's what, nearly 90 years old, mate, and he's shrewd, right? And they'll come over to Hearn. Probably couldn't secure any other TV deal anywhere, and now Brook's playing I've done all this for Hearn, why is he not doing it for me? Yeah, I'm not buying it, you know? I'm completely with Hearn on that.
Yeah. No.
And finally with Tank Davies versus Leo, you know what this reminds me of, yeah? It reminds me a bit of Kawasaki versus Jeff Lacey, right? You might think it's a bit strange, but to me it's quite similar, right? Jeff Left Hook Lacey was billed as one of the biggest punchers of the time, right? He was coming over, he was going to beat the hell out of Kawasaki, he was going to knock him out, guy had a big mouth, right? Kawasaki was a slapper, he was a slapper, you know, he threw loads of punches, but he was a slapper, right? In those 12 rounds, right, Kawasaki absolutely battered this guy, right? Now, I don't know if Santa Cruz had the pop to do that, right? He's certainly got the work rate. Undoubtedly got the work rate. You know, undoubtedly got a higher work rate than Tank Davies. They've probably got a lot more discipline than Tank Davies as well, right? Now, the lack of discipline, right, that Davies has shown in the past, that might be a key factor in this. If he hasn't, right, because they've been marketing it like he's been very well disciplined. They've been saying him on the scales. He's only like five pounds off making weight like a week ago, whatever, you know. But we don't know. If he hasn't, if he's doing the usual stuff, right, he might struggle against someone of like Santa Cruz with the style he has, right? If that happens, well, I reckon Cruz wins it on points. That's if they're going to let him win on points and they don't just like outright rob the guy. However, we also know, right, from talking to people who may with his gym, right, Davies, when sometimes they train, they put, you know, super welterweights in there with him, right? And he bangs them out, you know, one after another, right? So this guy's got serious pop, right? Serious pop. Cruz is coming up from 2 weight divisions. So those are the 2 big factors here. How does Tank Davies deal with Santa Cruz's work rate? And if he does that, right, can Cruz handle his power? And I reckon it's going to be 5, 6, 7 rounds like a TKO, right? You know, I don't know if it's going to be a knockout. Probably going to be something like a body shot. It's going to be aiming for the body to slow down Cruz early on, and 7, 8 rounds are going to go for the finish. And that's how I summarise some of those fights, guys.
No, appreciate that. I appreciate the comment. And I think it's some really, really well made points. I definitely think with the Davies Santa Cruz, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I do think, you know, Santa Cruz's work rate could be sort of like the dark horse in this, because at the end of the day, if Davies isn't able to land shots, isn't able to engage with a combination of punches, you're really going to say Santa Cruz takes the round, because Santa Cruz's output, and he's accurate. A lot of people will just think back to the loss against Frampton, but that was a very close fight. Of course, we say he lost. So I think some great points. I can't wait for this weekend. But no, listen, and now we're going to move on. Thank you very much for your support as always.
Thank you, bro.
We look forward to speaking to you some more.
Speak to you soon.
All right, take care, bro. Take care. Yeah, bro. So that was back to back, getting in a call in and talking about the show. I mean, just going back to the Danny Darko, his comments for the Eubank fight. I think that fight really, you know, and I say this, I think that's going to be a good fight. I think it could be one of those fights where, you know, if Danny can put it on Eubank, I think it will be a great scope on his resume, CV, and you never know. With the backing of MTK, like 2021 could still be a big year for him. Yes, he's in a tough division. We know that. But at the end of the day, I think he's got a style that fans would like to see. I think he's always on the front foot, aggressive. You know what I mean? Like he just wants to try and get a tear up. So there will be some fighters at a higher level that will match that. So yeah, definitely think that's going to be a good thing. Sam, listen, before we go, anything else you wanted to chop up?
No, that's it really. I mean, there's so much boxing this weekend. I just want to allude into next weekend. Like, hopefully we can check the man like Spider Craig Richards before he's bout with Shaq and Peters in the next couple of weeks. But boxing's just looking good, real healthy. I think. Shout out to fans for interacting and all the other platforms for calling in, fan-based platform, and obviously moving in the right direction compared to how we were a few months ago, with everyone just kind of speculated about fights and things. So next thing is kind of looking forward to getting the fans back. Yeah,
no, definitely. So listen, to everybody tuned in, appreciate the support as usual. You know where you can find us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the channel on all platforms, whether you see us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Really appreciate the support as always. And on that note, we are out. Peace.
Let's get